Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Brandon Morvillius. Alongside here with me is cameraman Jordan Redbeard McCoy, live here on the WHS Network on YouTube.com, here with the 2019 Wapahani Junior Varsity Volleyball Tournament here from beautiful Raider Gymnasium in Selma, Indiana. Our first game of the day, which should be a very busy day here for us. We have the Muncie Burris Owls taking on your 11-1 Wapahani Lady Raiders here this morning. We'll go ahead and jump right into things here with our Raiders Live pregame presented by the Muncie Dragway. Again, should be a very busy day. We have three games here within a span of about 2 or 3 hours. We have our first broadcast here, obviously, with us and Muncie Burris. The second game will be us and Yorktown. And then the third game will be Wapahani against Newcastle. So just make sure to go on here and watch us all day long. Again, we'll start again here at right around 10:02, 10:03 with the first game here today. And then it's just bam, 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 one right after another. So not much time in between to take a breather, I guess, if you will. But each one of these games will be on their separate broadcast. So me and Redbeard talked a little bit about that earlier this morning. Thought about doing just one long broadcast of all the games, but instead we're just going to make them all separate. And so we hope all of you enjoy today's games. Should be a great day. This Lady Raider volleyball team, as a whole, whether it be JV or varsity, has really played well this year. The varsity team off to a 10-1 start. This junior varsity team off to an 11-1 start. And the talent level is really through the roof. It's really exciting to watch, and it's a young team, meshing them, well with some of the older girls on the varsity level. But even down here with this junior varsity squad, obviously, granted, they're young, but they're talented, and they played together for a very long time, so that's why they're able to be so successful, because they know each other so well, and, kind of what to expect from each one, and that's why they had success at the middle school level, and so far so good here at the high school level as well. So we're hoping for a great day from Wapahani, and hopefully they can get 3 very big wins here today against Burris and Yorktown and also Newcastle. But we did want to send a shout out here to athletic director and head boys basketball coach Matt Luce and his wife Marie. They're actually down in Florida celebrating their 20th wedding anniversary. So we want to say happy anniversary to you guys, and we hope you guys enjoy a few relaxing days down there in the beautiful Sunshine State while we suffer up here with the extreme heat as well. But we hope you guys have a good time down there, and hope you guys can enjoy some Lady Raider volleyball here today. But nonetheless, here we have right about a minute and a half until I think we have the national anthem that they'll be playing here beforehand. Then we'll have lineups, all that great stuff coming up live here on the WHS Network.
We know the right way to get you where you need to go. We'll be the wheels underneath you, out on the road. We're driven to give you the best service. We're driven cause we know you deserve it. Stoops, we're driven to be the best. Stoops, we're driven to be the best.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here live on the WHS Network on YouTube.com as we take a look here today's lineups. First and foremost here for the Muncie Burris Owls. Start off here with number 1, Faith Schroll. Number 4, Maddie Dungan. Number 5, Katie Nagel. Number 10, J.C. Johnson. Number 11, Jasa Johnson. Number 12, Haley Allison. Number 14, Paige Horan. Number 15, Brenna Livingston. Also number 20, Danae Carter. Number 21, Kylie Wagaman. And number 22, Molly Davis. Again, the Lady Owls are coached by Victor Gayton. Now for Wapahani, we'll start off here with number 4, Allie Reagan. Number 5, Ashton Zickgraf. Also number 7, Briley Felton. Number 8, Addie Hughes. Number 10, Haley Smith. Number 12, Olivia Reagan. Number 14, Macy Bowden. Number 15, Gracie Stanley. Number 16, Lauren Luce. Number 17, Cadence Brewer, which I don't believe Brewer is playing here today. But nonetheless, a very nice start here for Wapahani, already a 2-0 lead. Again, Felton back to serve. Again, a little bit of a different camera view for us here today with the seating down below where we normally sit at. Is pushed in, so we're sitting up here in the mezzanine level here today. Hope everybody gets a good view of the court, and we probably won't be able to see everything from a serving standpoint on the lowest part of the screen, but still, nonetheless, I think getting a vast majority, if not all, of the court in here today, as that ball will be hit out of bounds. Now a 2-1 lead here for the Lady Raiders. And back to serve here will be number 5, Katie Nagel. Also, again, Wapahani coached here by Madison Mangus. She's gotten this Lady Raider volleyball team really going in the right direction here, starting out the season here 11-1. So a 3-1 Raider lead here. We'll have Macy Bowden back to serve. Dug out there by number 10, Johnson, and stoppage here on the floor because the volleyball from the other court came over into play, so we'll redo it here. Dug out by Johnson and set up there, Dungan. Nice dig, set to loose. Tried to knock that one home, but nice deflection up front. Bowden with the dig. Stanley will set it up, and Felton will get it back across. A little free ball action here for Burris. And mistimed, as that will be a mistimed jump there, and cost them a point there as the Raiders now take a 4-1 lead. Again, we just seen these girls just a couple nights ago when we played at Ball Gymnasium. Wapahani won that one rather handily and straight sets there. So we're hoping that kind of same result happens for us here today. So we'll see Faith Schroll back to serve here for the Lady Owls. Zickgraf with the dig. Bowden sets it up over there to number 12, Olivia Reagan. She'll get it back over there once again. Nagel sets it, and now a little free ball action here for the Raiders. Bowden with the soft tip, and Reagan will get it over. Stanley sets it to Zickgraf. Dug out there, and let's see what Luce can bring to the table this time. Blocked. Right back at it again here to Zickgraf. Soft touch over the net. Nicely done there by Ashton Zickgraf. And the Raiders now with a 5-2 lead with number 12, Olivia Reagan, back to serve. Bowden with a setup to Luce. Nice dig there from number 12, Allison, as Johnson able to sneak it in along the sideline. That was number 10, J.C. Johnson. So 5-3. And back to serve here for Burris will be number 14, Paige Horan. And served out of bounds there. An unfortunate error for Burris, but great obviously here for Wapahani as they retake that 3-point lead. We'll see Lauren Luce back to serve. Give some more free ball action sent right there to number 6, McKenna Goodwin, and the Raiders come away with a point there now with a 4-point lead. Again, what should be a very busy day today for Wapahani, well, really all these teams, as that was shanked off of Faith Schroll, an ace for Lauren Luce to give the Raiders now an 8-3 lead. But again, 3 games back-to-back-to-back. Round robin invitational and another ace for Luce. A little surprised now that Burris ain't going to take a timeout. Down here by 6. Another fine serve there from Luce, set up this time, and more free ball action. Here's Luce to Bowden, now to Felton. Blocked, kept alive by Goodwin. Now back to Felton one more time. And another brief pause in the action here. Another volleyball came back onto the court, so we'll get back at it here again. 9-3. Luce again back here to serve. Schroll with the dig. Set up there to Nagel. She'll get it back across and well out of bounds. Great court vision there by Stanley and Luce on the play. A missile of a serve right there for another ace for Luce, and that will cause Burris to take a timeout. Now up 11-3 the Raiders will step aside here for a brief timeout. We'll be back with more on the WHS Network. All right, folks, welcome back out of the timeout here. We have a substitution now into the ball game. Be number 10, Haley Smith. She'll sub in here for Lauren Luce, and she'll be back to serve. Dug out by Nagel. And they'll eventually get over there by number 4, Dungan. Bowden will send it to Goodwin. Back on the attack and blocked. I think might have been Goodwin on the block right there to put the Raiders up by 9. A serve there from Smith, set up this time to number 12, Allison, and out of bounds there. So the Raiders on a very nice run here. They was up 5-3. Went on a real nice run there as that one served into the net, and now a 13-4 ball game with number 4, Maddie Dungan, back to serve for Burris. Handled by Zitgraff. Smith sets it to Felton, and that will be in there for the kill as the Raiders again re-up that lead back to 10. Yeah, I say it all the time, you know, having the overall depth that the Raiders have this year from an offensive standpoint, from a hitting standpoint, as that will land in there for another ace, this time for Ashton Zitgraff. But we have a very deep team here for Wapahani from, like I said, a hitting standpoint. You know, you look at the varsity level, yeah, you have the likes of Mallory Summers and Emma Shuck, also Cameron Wise. You know, when you have, you know, also the likes of Chloe Cook and even other girls, you know, such as Briley Felton, you know, you're in some pretty good company right here, and really is going to give you a good chance to not only be successful this year, but in years to come, and with this group that we have here, even with Gracie Stanley as your libero, as that one is served out of bounds. 16-5 now, Wapahani on top. You have some very good defensive players back here. Stanley, Zitgraf, the list could go on and on. Every young lady on this team has a great deal of talent, and not only that, but I've already said it time and time and again, but they've played together for so long. You mesh that with some of these older girls, a couple seniors, 2 or 3 seniors we have, and maybe a junior or 2, and then some sophomores. You mesh all that together, and what was already a very good group, you bring another good group in here, and that's why we're able to fly on all cylinders so far to start off the season. But from this junior varsity squad, they have been playing very, very good volleyball all season long, because you don't really think too much, when you come into the year about how, you're going to be splitting some of these girls up. Some of them have played together for a long time, some of them haven't. But with this junior varsity team, these girls have played a great deal of time together through the years, and that's really a big reason why they've been so good. Handled there by Smith. Bowden with the setup to Felton. And another kill there for Felton, as the Raiders now getting ever so closer to the magic number 25, as we'll see number 4, Allie Reagan, back in here. Actually getting her first action here of the day. Also Lauren Luce in here for Wapahani. So Reagan will be back to serve with the Raiders up by 11 here in set number 1 of the day. Jason Johnson, now number 15, Livingston, will get it over. Set to Luce and hit into the net. So we'll see Katie Nagel back to serve for the Owls. And into the net she'll go. Now we'll see a substitution here for the Lady Raiders. We'll have number 8, Addie Hughes. Seeing her first action today. Good to get her in there. The Raiders up by 11 here, looking to close out this first set. Handled there by Johnson. Now set to Dungan. And out of bounds. So now a 12-point cushion for Wapahani. Nice serve there from Bowden. She'll set it up there. Number 12, Olivia Reagan on the attack. Kept alive. Stanley. Bowden now over to Luce. And set right over the net, down in play. And the Raiders really flying on all cylinders here to start off. Again, Yorktown and Newcastle playing on the other court. Will be taking on Yorktown. And the second game of the day, miscommunication there on behalf of the Owls, will cost them another point, and the Raiders now 3 points away from taking the opening set. Dug by Dungan, set right back to her, and in there, in between Reagan and Stanley, we'll see number 10, J.C. Johnson, back in for the Lady Owls, and now serving will be number 15, Livingston. Luce to Bowden, now set there to Reagan. There's Stanley again, Bowden with another setup, this time to Luce. And inbounds, nice ball placement there. Very nice pass, the great set, and the kill there from Luce gives the Raiders point number 23 on the day. And number 12, Olivia Reagan back there to serve as she serves that one into the net. Stanley back in there. So the Raiders now lead at 23-10 with number 14, Paige Horan, back to serve. Or at least momentarily, we're looking for the volleyball. The volleyball went out in the hallway somewhere. All right, so now they got it back in play. The Raiders just got 2 more points to go. Handled there by Stanley. Bound with a set up to Luce. Nice job, Nagel, getting the hands up in the air. And again, miscommunication there on behalf of Nagel and Dungan. Will cost the Owls a point there, and Felton will re-enter the lineup again here for Allie Reagan and Lauren Luce back to serve to hope to close out this first set here today. And just barely out of bounds. So the Owls live for another point here. Maddie Dungan back to serve. Stanley digs in. Bowden sets it up to Felton and bringing the hammer as Briley Felton to end this first set as the Raiders take it 25-11 and now have a 1-0 lead. Folks, again, we appreciate you all for joining us here today. Make sure stay tuned in with us again. We got second set coming up live here on the WHS Network.
Need legal advice or representation, you can trust B. Joseph Davis, attorney at law in Muncie. Our focus is personal injury. We handle cases involving serious injuries, wrongful deaths, all vehicle crashes, nursing home cases, medical product and drug recalls, and slips, trips, and falls. No fee until we win. We offer evening, weekend, home, and hospital appointments for your convenience. Contingency fee arrangements are available. For a free consultation, call B. Joseph Davis, attorney at law, today.
Stop on in at Jones Auto Body, owned by J.R. Phelan at 1901 East Memorial Drive in Muncie, Indiana. Jones Auto Body is one of Muncie's oldest and largest auto repair and paint shops, in which they have been serving the community for over 30 years. Jones Auto Body, assurance of quality. Alrighty, welcome back here, folks. Again, Brandon Morvillius alongside here with me is cameraman Jordan Redbeard McCoy. Again, thanks for watching us here today. So far, so good here for Wapahani. 25-11 first set victory here over Muncie Burris. And again, we just seen these young ladies just a few nights ago when we took on the Owls at Ball Gymnasium, in which Wapahani won that one in straight sets. So a good start here today. We're hoping that trend continues. And again, just another mention here of the schedule for today. Obviously, we have the first game here against Muncie Burris. The second game will be featuring us and Yorktown. That will be on a separate broadcast, so this is not one long broadcast. So each game will be separate. Wapahani, Yorktown next, and then the third game of the day will be between us and Newcastle. So make sure watch all three games, and I know it's a nice Saturday morning here from Raider Gymnasium, so hopefully you all are enjoying a good morning here so far and hopefully enjoying our broadcast here today. We'd like to thank some of our sponsors here before we get things going. We'd like to thank Stoops Automotive Group Buick and GMC dealership owned by Randy Stoops, located at 4055 West Clara Lane in Muncie, Indiana. Stoops has a wide variety of brand new and pre-owned vehicles of quality brand names. So if you have an interest in a vehicle, like to know more information about one, contact Stoops at 765-288-1903 and also visit their online website at www.stoopsauto.com. So again, a special thanks there to Stoops Automotive Group, Buick and GMC dealership. Stoops is driven to be the best. So speaking of which, hopefully the Raiders are driven to be the best here in set number 2 as we are underway here. Schroll on the attack. There is Reagan. Bowden now set to Felton. And that's going to be a 4-hit call on Wapahani, as Muncie Burris will start off the scoring here in set number 2, 1-0, as number 5, Katie Nagel, will be back to serve. Handled there by Luce. Now Zick Graff gets a hand in on the action. Then Olivia Reagan knocks it over. And hit well out of bounds here, number 4, Maddie Dungan. As the Raiders will tie it up here at 1 off the hitting air. And Briley Felton will be back to serve. Nice serve right there. That's going to be in there for the ace. Off of number 10, J.C. Johnson. And another ace for Felton. Some miscommunication continuing here for the Owls. That's one thing for their sake you definitely don't want to see. For Wapahani, obviously you want to execute in any way possible. But they have had a long list of issues so far here in this game today. Muncie Burris has. Most of it due to the simple miscommunication, not knowing who's going to take the ball, and so on and so forth. So we'll have number 11, Jasa Johnson, back to serve for the Lady Owls. Again, the Raiders here with a 3-2 lead, already a 1-0 lead. Took the first set 25-11. Loose on the attack. There's Nagel to dig it out. Dungan sets it to J.C. Johnson. Nice job, Zig Graff. Now Loose back on the attack. There's Nagel once more. Stanley lays out for Bowden. Back to Loose. Dug that time by Haley Allison. And Johnson unable to get there in time. I think Muncie Burris might have got away with a 2-hit anyway. But still ends up in a point here for Wapahani as Macy Bowden drops back to serve. Nice handling there by J.C. Johnson. Picking that one right off the net. Olivia Reagan on the attack that time around. Back to Johnson. Allie Reagan that time with a dig. Set to Zigraff. Some good action here on both sides. Bowden sets it to Loose and hits it off the side of her hand and out of bounds. Now 4-3 here is number 15, Brenna Livingston. Will be back to serve here for the Owls. Loose, and unfortunate there. Pass went over the net and was handled easily there from Haley Allison as the Owls tie this game up at 4. And if you remember correctly there in the first set, things started out close but then got out of hand rather quickly as Wapahani hit the ground running after that, and miscommunication on behalf of the Raiders. Not sure who was going to get the ball. Now will cost them a point as Muncie Burris will take the lead 5-4, and Allie Reagan will come out of the game and Briley Felton will come back in. Off the hands of Loose, out of bounds. That's going to be an ace for Livingston. And the Owls have now hit a surge here, 4 consecutive points put together. Stanley to Bowden to Loose, and in there for the kill will be Loose. To stop the run there of the Owls, 4 consecutive put together. Number 6, McKenna Goodwin back in here for Wapahani, and Olivia Reagan back to serve. Dug by Dungan. Set there to Allison. Zigraff got there, but a net violation called on Wapahani. Stanley back to Bowden. Now Loose back on the attack again. Dug there and tipped across by Nagel. Loose trying to find a point there, unable to. Allison at the attack and hit well out of bounds. So now 7-6. Lauren Luce back to serve. Mishandled but kept alive there by Nagel as Livingston will get it over. A little free ball action for the Raiders. Felton on the attack. Soft tip over the net. And works out beautifully there as the Raiders tie this thing up at 7. Got a nice crowd here on hand on this Saturday morning. It's good to have the support for all these nice young ladies, because they definitely deserve it. So an ace there from Luce as Wapahani retakes the lead, 8-7. Handled by Livingston. Dungan sets it to Allison. Stanley with the dig. Bowden now to Zitgraf. Livingston right there once more. Nagel on the attack there, and again some miscommunication, which is a very rare occasion there by Wapahani, but it's already happened a couple times now within the last few points. As number 1, Faith Schroll, will return to action for Burris, as number 10, J.C. Johnson, will be back to serve. Zitgraf lays out for it. Bowden sets it to Felton. Now to Schroll, as Felton will get there. Bowden with the back set there to Zitgraf, and worked out nice. Nice job there by Bowden to really change things up, and Zitgraf executing that one to a T. 9-8 Wapahani, set number 2. Again, all these games are best 2 out of 3 sets. So not our normal regular best 3 out of 5 at the varsity level like we're accustomed to. Dug out by Schroll. Dungan right back to her. There's Stanley. Bowden with the set to Felton. Again, just barely got it over the net there, but just enough on it. As Nagel will get it back over. A little free ball action. Nice hustle is good one. Will get it over, but unfortunately hits the basketball goal. And that's considered out of bounds. So a very unfortunate thing to happen there for Wapahani, as Muncie Burris will collect the point and tie this thing up at 9. Felton to Bowden, set it right over the net. A little trickery there to change it up a little bit. Mishandled by Stanley, and then unfortunately a domino effect right there will cost the Raiders a point. Now 10-9. Burris back on top. Kind of been this back and forth here in this second set, surprising enough. You got to give a lot of credit there to Lady Owls, sticking right in there, and really played pretty good here in the second set after an unfortunate first set for them. Bowden sets it to Felton. Allison with the dig. Dungan sets it to Nagel, but a little too close to the net and end up going over the net but out of bounds. So now we'll see Lady Raider Gracie Stanley now back to serve. A knuckleball right there. Nagel tips it over. Olivia Reagan, or no, excuse me, that was Haley Smith digging that one out. So the point goes there to Wapahani. Back here with a 1-point lead. Dungan to Nagel. Set over there to Schroll as Zitgraf handles things. Bowden now to Felton. Bringing it. And collects the kill. Now 12-10. And we'll have a timeout. The Raiders on top. We'll be back with more right after this break. All right, folks, welcome back out of the timeout here. We're going to switch this back to an 11-10 game. That's what they have on the scoreboard. I'm not sure if there was a call that was made that I wasn't aware of, but I thought it was 12-10. But instead it's 11-10, and now it's going to be 11-all after they called a net violation on Wapahani. So Nagel back to serve. Zitgraff to Bowden, now to Felton. And in there along the sideline. Nice placement there by Briley. And the Raiders back on top here by 1. As I feel like I've said that so much, I now sound like a broken record. With a 12-11 lead, Briley Felton back to serve. Nagel will set it up here. Here we go with free ball action. Loose to Bowden. Now to Olivia Reagan. Dug out there by Nagel. And number 14, Horan, will get it over and out of bounds. So 13-11, Wapahani leads. Very nice serve right there, close to the net. A missile serve, if you will. And ends up working out nicely there for the Ace, and a 14-11 lead now for Wapahani as they try to not only extend the lead, but create a little bit more of a gap now between them and Muncie Burris. Felton to Bowden, now over to Loose on the attack. Nagel gets the hands up in the air. Olivia Reagan on the attack, off the hands of Nagel, out of bounds. Point there for the Raiders. Again there as Olivia Reagan collects the kill. Again, if you're just now joining us, this is game 1 of the day here for the Wapahani Lady Raiders. Again, the 2019 Wapahani Junior Varsity Tournament. Glad to bring all this to all you fine folks out there in Raider Nation. And here's Wapahani leads it 1-0. Nice hustle there by Burris. Even just to get it over the net. Set over there by Luce. And miscommunication there by Nagel and Allison will cost the Owls a point. And the Raiders now lead at 16-11 as Muncie Burris will take a timeout. And we'll stick right here with you during the timeout. Again, this will be our Kara J. Wolf DD-SPC game break. I'd like to thank some more sponsors here today. The Liberty Prairie Alumni Association, which includes President Richard Morris. Liberty Prairie Alumni Association serves as the Wapahani Center and Selma High School alumni. Make sure to visit their online website at www.libertyprairiealumni.com to get information on any events and to purchase any Wapahani-related items on their web store. Also, another very, very big thing they do is the engraved bricks for out here at the Alumni Brick Walkway at Wapahani. Simply to purchase an engraved brick, you got to fill out a form, which is on the homepage of the alumni website. And for any other information or questions you might be looking for or might have, you can contact Richard Morris on Facebook. So again, a special thanks to the Liberty Prairie Alumni Association for their sponsorship. So back out of timeout, Wapahani again here with a 5-point lead. Dungan will get it over for the Owls. Felton to Bowden, now to Reagan. Soft touch over the net, worked out beautifully. Again, we've done a real nice job of just keeping Burris off balance here. You know, we'll throw a couple hard hits in there, then maybe a soft touch here or there as well. Again, you don't want to continue to do the same thing repetitiously because then obviously the defense kind of knows what to expect. So when you're able to throw them off a little bit, then it creates the deception and gives us a better opportunity to put some more points on the board. Felton will get there, tipped over by Bowden, about the only place she had there. And Stanley lays out for it, but unable to get there. Nice hustle nonetheless as Nagel, I think that was Nagel that collected that kill. Now an 18-12 ball game. And we will see number 11, Jasa Johnson, back to serve here for Muncie Burris. Set that time to loose. Allison lays out for it, blocked and in there. Tipped right back down by Lauren Luce. And puts the Raiders back on top here by 7 with Macy Bowden back to serve. Again, the Raiders getting ever so close to that magic number 25, 6 points away. Allison handles that one. Nagel with the set up there to Horan. And off the hands and inbounds there Felton. So the point goes to Muncie Burris as we'll see number 15 Livingston return to action. Also we'll have a sub in here for Wapahani. We'll see number 8 Addie Hughes now in here for the first time of the night, or first time of the morning rather. Usually we've got nighttime games, so Bowden with the setup there to Olivia Reagan and out of bounds. No touch there by Burris. So the Owls starting to slowly but surely climb right back into it. Again, really been a very good game until the Raiders really again hit at a good point here in the set and continue to roll with it. But the Owls continuing to fight here and see what they can come up with as Luce will hit that out of bounds. So what was a 8-point lead now is dwindled down to 4. Again, Livingston still back to serve. That might have been heading out of bounds very close there as Felton dug that one out. Now Luce on the attack there. Dungan will set it to number 22, Davis, and hits that into the net. So a big momentum stopper there as she was able to hit that into the net. Gives the Raiders an opportunity now to go on a little run of their own as Olivia Reagan serves that one into the net. So back here to a 4-point lead. Maddie Dungan back to serve. There's Stanley, Bowden, and Luce will get it over. And again, we'll have another brief pause in the action there. The volleyball from the other side of the court now came on our side. Okay, so now we look to be all squared away. We'll get back at it again here. 20-16, Wapahani on top here in set number 2. Again, already here with a 1-set-to-none lead. Luce on the attack there, and that will fall in. Got enough on it to tip it off the top of the net and down in play. As we'll see Lauren Luce back to serve. Livingston to Dungan. Now Allison on the attack and inbounds. Number 10, Haley Smith, returns to action for the Lady Raiders. Again, here's Muncie Burris making things very interesting towards the end of this second set as that one proves to be a costly point there, served out of bounds. So we'll see Ashton Zitgraff back in for Wapahani, and she'll be back to serve with Wapahani up here by 5. Livingston will dig it out, and Goodwin tips it back across. Now Schroll gets a hand in on the action. Bowden back to Felton. Nicely done there. And Felton doesn't put a whole lot on it, but just enough So again, to create some deception there. Nice hustle there, Nagel, as Burris will get it back over. This time, Nagel back at it again, tips it over, and in there with the kill to again give the Owls some hope here, down by 5. Anything's possible here. We'll see on the 14-page horn back in. And Haley Allison back to serve. Stanley to Bowden, back to Felton. Going for the hard stuff that time around and out of bounds. Blocked out of bounds, should I say. So the Raiders now at match point, 24-18. Stanley was back there to serve. Nagel sounds it to Schroll as they'll get it over. There's Smith. Johnson now will get it back across for the Owls. Bound with a setup to Olivia Reagan. Nagel handles that one. Schroll will free ball action now for Wapahani, and that was unfortunately passed over the net. Back again to Felton. Bringing the hammer and stamp on this second set and ball game as the Raiders take this one by a final score of 25-11 and 25-18. So Wapahani will now move on to play against Yorktown, which, well, that's going to be a minute because Newcastle and Yorktown's playing right now and just a few points away from heading to a third set. So, again, we'll be starting a whole new broadcast for the second game between your Lady Raiders and the Lady Tigers. Again, that will be coming up. I would say the broadcast will start. It's 10:47 right now. I would say the broadcast should begin somewhere around 11:15, I would imagine. At least we hope, depending upon how this other game goes between Yorktown and Newcastle, to see how long they take. But still, nonetheless, a good win to start out the day here for Wapahani. Now 12-1 on the season, and just got to keep pressing forward here. You know, we've played good here so far this season. Played good so far here today, and we hope to continue to do that. So, folks, again, thanks for joining us here for game one of the day here between Wapahani and Muncie Burris, with the Raiders taking this one straight sets here today, 25-11, 25-18. Again, a special thanks to all of our sponsors. And again, we'll be back at it here in about 25-30 minutes with more Lady Raider volleyball here on the WHS Network.